Hey folks, in this video, I'm going to show you how I import podcasts into WPPodcast.com. Not the episodes, but the podcast itself. Each podcast is imported as a category of posts. So episodes are posts. I added some custom fields to categories. There's a logo, a podcast site, and an RSS URL. Other than that, there's standard categories. So let's take a look at how it works. I use WP All Import, which I'd like to point out is not uh, specifically an RSS or podcast importer. It's an XML importer. It just happens to work really well with podcasts because they are XML. Um, I go to New Import and download file from URL. Now I'm using the premium version of WP All Import. They very kindly gave me a license. If you have the free one, then you can't put in a URL and have it pull from the internet. You have to upload a file, which is not that hard. You can just download that file from the web and upload it here. So I'm going to put in the Hallway Chats address and click download. And what we're going to import is into taxonomies. You pick one, categories. So then I continue to step 2. And right now, by default, it wants to import all the items. So you can see there are 156 elements. We don't want the items. So we're going to come down here, and instead of choosing /item, which is one of many elements in there, we're going to change it to channel. And that's going to refresh this. And you'll see now it's only going to get one element. And that's right here at the top. Now you can still see the other stuff. If you come down here, there's the first item. But we're getting one of one right now. So we continue to step 3. And the first time I did this, I had to go in and set up this template. It's not that hard. For title, you can double click here and then single click here. I didn't even copy paste. And so description, there you go. However, you can save this once you've done it. So I've added more than 100 podcasts now, I think. So I just choose the podcast thing here and it reloads with everything all set up. So I use title and description. I don't do any advanced options. For images, podcasts do it a couple of different ways. There's often an iTunes image, which you can find in here, right here. So I didn't want just the image. You need the href tag. And so that's why there's the /@ href right there. Some podcasts don't have that. They use instead an image tag like this. And so you would grab URL and paste it there. Some podcasts have both, and you can choose which one you want. It's usually the same image. My point is that you need to figure out which one your podcast is using and make sure you have the right thing here. I didn't mess with any other settings here. These are all defaults. And I don't mess with the SEO stuff. That's just for the images. Term meta. I don't, these are terms, so I don't do anything with term meta. I do use the Advanced Custom Fields add-on, which is a paid add-on. Again, they supplied a free license for HeroPress, which I very much appreciate. But you can say, I want to affect my podcast details field group, which you saw right here. And then I import the image here. Technically, I don't need to do it up here because there isn't a custom, there isn't a featured image for terms. Just habit, I guess. But here you need the same logic as up above. You need to figure out which one your podcast is using and put it in there. if they don't have an image, you can put in a URL of an image and it will use that. So that's your fallback. Podcast site is the link, which comes from, where is it in here? Right there. And then the RSS URL is the Atom link. These two are really consistent across all podcasts. I've never had to change this. And the only thing actually I've ever really had to change is the image. Category options, I don't mess with that. Function editor. This is kind of important to me. It may not be to you. I use a plugin called Post Promoter Pro that auto tweets every time a new thing publishes. And the problem is, and actually, ironically, now that I think about it, this code shouldn't be here for categories or for terms. It's just for the items, but that's the way it goes. The problem with Post Promoter Pro and WP All-Import is that WP All-Import creates the item, either a term or a post, and then adds the meta fields. So the post is already published by the time Post Promoter Pro's meta fields are in place. So the WP All-Import folks actually wrote this code for me, very thoughtful of them, which after the metadata is put in, it reruns as if it were a new post. And so it publishes. So if you go to the WP Podcast Twitter feed, you get to see every episode as it publishes. So that was it. It sounded a lot more complicated. When I'm doing these over and over again, really the only thing I do is mess with the image and make sure the image path is right. So I can get these rolling pretty quick. We go to step 4. We need to make a unique identifier, which is almost always the title. If you have 2 podcasts with the exact same name, you would run into trouble, but I've never run into that. These are the defaults. I didn't mess with them at all. Scheduling options. I don't schedule importing podcasts because really you only need to do it the one time. If they made some changes, I can come in and manually re-update. So I don't schedule here. And then advanced settings. I put in a friendly name here. This is used on the back end. You want something unique. I always have mine, the podcasts end with podcasts, the episodes end with episodes, so I know which is which. And yeah, so you just need something unique there. And then I'm actually going to stop here. The only thing left is if you hit continue or save, then it gives you the opportunity to run the thing, which I don't want to do right now. But I'm going to go back to manage imports and search for Hall. Oh, it did make mine. The one I just did, it created it. So I'm actually going to delete that because we don't want that duplicate. Oh, but that gives me the opportunity to show you. You can delete the import. You can optionally delete categories. And if you do, you can optionally create images or delete images and files from the media gallery, which is pretty slick. I'm just going to delete that import. So, you can see I didn't put the word podcast after this one. It was one of the first ones I did. Obviously number 7. But I have episodes here, so you can see there are always 2. And in another video, I'll show you how I import the episodes. But I did want to show you right here's the run import. So if somebody, the owner of this podcast, which is me, made a change to the description or the image or whatever, I could just hit run import, and confirm and run. Oh, this is what that last page looks like that I showed you. Oh, I did do an update. I don't know what changed, but it updated the category a little bit. So that's how you do a manual one. Thanks for watching.